Hell Night. There's something wriggling on the back of Jade's neck, multiple wet somethings, but her arms are too trapped to get at them.
Hello everyone, my name is Marin. Welcome to another reading vlog. So in this vlog, I'm just going to take you through kind of a laid back, calm kind of weekend. So I do have some reading plans, obviously. I am working on finishing up My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I am almost done with this. I'm on page 363. So I only have this little bit left. I am listening to this on audio right now. I am getting ready to head to the grocery store and I'm gonna listen to it there as well, and I'll probably have it done by the time I get back home. And then the other book I am working on is Here Lies Daniel Tate by Kristen Terrell. Now, if you watched my December TBR, I took you through all of the books that I need to read this month to give myself a clean slate for 2022. This book is one of them, and so is this one. So my goal is to have both of these done by the end of the weekend. So I'm thinking I'll try to get about halfway through this one today and probably finish it tomorrow. I am also working on two books that I did not read in November, even though I told you in the last vlog that I was for sure going to read them. Did you really believe me? Because no, I did not really read them. So I have to add those onto this TBR as well. So I am at like 13 books for December. That's a lot. Yeah, anyway, so this is what I will be working on for this vlog. I am going to just read kind of on and off for the remainder of the day. It's already like 2 o'clock. I got a late start because I was up until a stupid time last night because I'd fallen asleep when I got home from work. And then I was up late. So vicious cycle, y'all. Anyway, that is the goal, to finish these two. Tomorrow, I am hoping to be able to start the Audiobook of Columbine, which is one of my 21 books to read in 2021 that I have not read yet. I have 6 of those that I still need to read. Y'all, it's a lot. But yeah, that is the plan. So I'm just going to kind of bring you along this weekend while I hang about at home and read. So I also have 2 videos that I would like to film. I'm going to film my November reading recap, rather, and then I also want to film my empties video so I can get rid of that trash and get it where it needs to go. So that is the plan, and I will bring you along. So let's go ahead and roll on into the vlog. All right, hello everyone. It is 4:42. I just got done filming my empties video and my November reading recap. And I also finished listening to My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. So book number 1 for my December TBR is done. Let's see what to say about this one. First off, probably a caveat, I am not this book's intended audience. This book is essentially a love letter to slasher films. I am not a horror movie fan. So I have read horror books that I've enjoyed, but I don't watch horror movies. So, and when I do, I'm like, that's who I am as a person. So this was not necessarily the book for me. There are a lot of shout outs to slasher films. Scream is mentioned a lot. I have seen that one, so I did get the kind of what she was saying about that particular movie, but I've never seen any of like the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I've never seen any of the Friday the 13th films. I've never watched Saw. I have watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is mentioned in here. What else? There was like one other that I've seen. She mentions Jaws a lot, and I have seen that, but yeah, this was definitely a book written for people who love slasher films like Jade herself does. So there were some interesting tidbits in this book. It really kind of gets into Idaho history as well, because the book is set in Idaho. Some class issues, racism, because Jade is half Native American. Her father is full Native American. Yeah, just a lot of commentary about how kids who are a little bit different kind of get pushed to the side and forgotten about and blamed for things. And you can tell that there's some stuff that has happened to Jade that she is kind of pushing down with her slasher movie love, that finally gets brought out into the open in this book by a new to the town character. So there's a lot going on here. I have heard the complaint that the first part of this book is very slow and dull. I did not experience that, but I listened to this on audio. So I am curious to know, like, I just wonder if I would have been able to get through it as quickly if I was reading it, because it is pretty dense. It takes a very long time to set this story up. The first chapter starts with like a bang, like you are thrust right into like a horror film, and then the tempo really slows down. But I found that the audio kept me engaged, eagerly listening, learning more about Jade, about the town. So I really enjoyed that. I think ultimately I am going to give this one probably 3 stars. And that is mostly because the last 2-ish chapters were rushed big time. Considering how long it takes you to set up the plot, I just felt like he really crammed too much into like the last couple of chapters. I also have a lot of questions about some of the characters' motivations, the things that happened. And I know that this is the first book in what is going to be a trilogy, but yeah, I just felt like there was still a lot left unsaid, and I didn't love that. So I'm going to give this one 3 stars. I am, however, interested to read the sequel to see where it's going. But yeah, this one's done. I would never have picked this book up if this was not a pick for the Literally Dead book club. So shout out to Kayla at Books and Lala for choosing this one, because I would not have read it otherwise. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. But again, I don't think I was its intended audience, because I think you really needed to have like that deep love of slasher films to truly love this one. But I still enjoyed it well enough to pick up the next book in the series at some point and give that one a go. Now, what else? It's almost 5 o'clock and I've done no other reading. So I need to go ahead and buckle down and do some reading on Here Lies Daniel Tate. I do have a schedule, by the way, for my reading for the next couple of weeks. I'm looking at it over here. So my goal was to have Here Lies Daniel Tate finished today. That's not going to happen. I will finish it tomorrow. But I wasn't supposed to finish My Heart as a Chainsaw until tomorrow. So I'm just flipping those. The next book up is Codename Verity. I'll put the cover right here. That is a World War II spy book, a YA spy book. And then the next one is Far From You by Tess Sharp, which I have scheduled to finish on Saturday. Between that, I need to also finish this one and The Forever Song, because I didn't read those in November. I'm thinking what I'm actually going to do with those 2 books is use them as like lunchtime reading during the week at school. So I have 2 weeks of work left before winter break, and then I have 2 weeks off. So I'm really hoping to be able to do a lot of reading during those 2 weeks, but I want to make sure I'm like on track for that. So my goal is to have The Forever Song finished by, what day would that be? December 17th, which is the last day before winter break. So if I can read it for 30 minutes at lunch, every day for those 2 weeks. I should definitely be able to get it done by then, maybe even before. Yeah, so we will just see. I know, I'm like, it's difficult to dig myself out of this hole that I've created with my TBRs, but I think I can. I think I can. So I'm going to get cleaned up from filming this video. I have stuff all over the place. I need to get rid of my empties now that I've filmed that video. And then we will do some reading. Yeah. So here we go.
This is Audible.
Hachette Audio presents Columbine. Written by Dave Cullen. Read by Don Leslie.
Hello everyone, happy Sunday. I wanted to do a little reading update. So I did read almost 50% of this last night. Goodreads says I'm at 44%. I am on page 179. So this is an interesting story. So this book follows our main character, whose name we don't ever learn, or at least we haven't yet. He is essentially a petty con artist, and he is kind of moving from group home to group home in Vancouver, Canada, when he decides to lie and say that he is Daniel Tate. Daniel Tate is a kid who went missing like 6 years previously, and so he's pretending to be that kid, not realizing that the Tate family is very powerful. They have a lot of money. So he winds up basically getting pulled into this con that he's running, and he is now living with the Tate family and trying to continue to kind of keep his ruse going, even though he is aware that he's probably on like borrowed time with that. It's very fast paced. The thing that's interesting about this book is there's no chapters. So there are just like paragraph breaks, or not paragraph breaks, but like breaks in the narrative, I guess. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's the only way that you can tell. So like they just do the big space right here, and that's the only way you can tell that you've like moved forward in the narrative. So there's no chapters. But I basically blew through the first 44% of this last night. I think I was only reading it for like an hour and a half, and I just flew through it. So I'm definitely going to finish this today. I am very curious to see where it's going. There is some definite weird stuff going on with the Tate family. So yeah, I am very curious to see what is going to happen. I also started the audiobook of Columbine this morning. I am on chapter 6, which is only page 26, but this has a very extensive author's note at the beginning that is also part of the audio, just so you can kind of hear from the author about how he compiled his book, basically. So there's also quite a bit at the back of the book. There's a lot of like notes that go with various quotes and things. There are some of the journal entries that the killers were keeping during the whole thing. There's some photos of like the school layout, things like that. So after I finish listening to the book, I'm going to also go through all of that so I can kind of get the full experience. So yeah, that's where I'm at. It is 11:30ish, and all I have on my agenda for today is reading and probably Animal Crossing. So I will take you along. Nothing crazy, pretty low key. That's how I prefer my weekends. And yeah, we'll just see what I get up to. Hello everyone, it is 4 o'clock and I just finished Here Lies Daniel Tate, and y'all, this is like one of my favorite books of the year. This book was crazy. It had so many twists and turns. You like weren't really sure what was going on. It's told by an unreliable narrator, so you have that kind of to factor in as well with things. It's like thriller, suspenseful, mystery. I loved it. And Kristen Terrell has just become one of my favorite authors with this book. So I had read All Our Yesterdays earlier in the year in June for Whatever-a-thon. Really loved that one, gave that one 4 stars. But this one, 5 stars. I loved this one. If you like mystery thriller stories that just kind of keep you on the edge of your seat, pick this one up because it was fantastic. And I saw on Goodreads that she has a new book coming out in 2022, and you can bet that I'm going to be reading that one because this was so good. I don't want to go into details. If you want to read the synopsis, it's on the Goodreads page. I did give a little bit of an intro to it, but this one is best to just go in not really knowing much about it. Wow, I really, really loved this one. So I'm so glad I gave this one a read. Now, what I'm going to do next in this vlog is I am going to figure out the order that I'm going to be reading the remainder of the books that are on my TBR. So if you watched my December TBR, you'll know that I picked 4 books to start, ones that I'd requested from the library, and I randomly generated numbers to get the order that I was going to read the books in. So I wrote them down on my calendar here. So Here Lies Daniel Tate was the first book. The second book that I will be reading this month is Codename Verity by Jennifer Wine. The third book will be Far From You by Tess Sharp. And then the fourth book will be Columbine by Dave Cullen. So as you saw, I'm listening to that one on audio. So I gave myself like a week and a half to get through that one. It's a pretty long audiobook. I think it was like 12 hours or something like that. So that one's going to take me a bit. But I figured I would go ahead and include my roles, if you will, for the remainder of the TBR. So what I decided that I'm going to do, I wrote the titles down on Post-it notes, and I'm going to kind of play like a little game of MASH, if you're familiar with that. So I am going to roll a dice on my computer. I can't find actual dice, so I'm just going to roll a dice on the computer. It's going to give me the number, and then I'm just going to count around and figure out the order. So the first one that I land on will be the first book that I read, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and roll the number now. Okay, as you saw, I rolled a 6. So I'm just going to count through those Post-it notes and get the order of the books, and I will show them to you and then do a very quick recap. Okay, so now I'm going to fill in on my calendar. I don't know if you can see, but I wrote things like book number 6, book number 7, book number 8. So I'm going to go ahead and fill the titles in right now. So I have that on here. I'm doing this now because I'm going to need to request some of these titles from the library. The only ones that I have are the 2 books that are on my Kindle, and then I also have Poison Study and The Sword of Summer, but I do not own the Inheritance Games or the Archived, so I'm going to have to request those, and I want to make sure I'm giving myself enough time for those to get in at the library for me. So that's why I went ahead and did this now. Also, I just thought it would be kind of a fun little way to close out this vlog. So let me go ahead and transfer the titles into my calendar, and then we're gonna wrap this vlog up. All right, so I've got the titles written down on here. I also added The Forever Song and Invincible to this calendar. I have a couple of things on here that I'm basically thinking I'm going to read like in a day, but I'm also going to give myself a little bit of leeway because the last book that I have listed, I actually have finishing up on the 29th, and I would technically have 2 more days in the month. So I do have some room to kind of fiddle around with things if I need to, but hopefully I can stick pretty closely to this schedule and get all of these books read and off of my TBR. The next book up for me is going to be Codename Verity by Jennifer Wine. This is a spy novel set during World War II. I'm pretty excited to read it. This one had really great reviews when it was first released. Again, I think like in 2012. I'll look real fast. I'm pretty sure 2012. Yep, 2012. I had an arc of this that I never read, so I'm very excited to read this one. That will not be part of any vlog. I will pick back up again next weekend, and we'll be reading Far From You by Tess Sharp. So that is what will be on the agenda for my next vlog, and we'll just see how I do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more from me. Stay tuned again to see how I do with this very long December TBR, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.